right. Hello, Brenna. Wonderful to meet you. I'm sure we had about 50 people that expressed interest in coming today, and we'll see. We'll see who gets to come and who gets to join us. So, for those of you that aren't familiar with me or my brand, let's see, there's my camera right up there. I got like so many cameras. My name is Marianne Hickman. Hello. Drop your names and where you're from in the chat. I'm going to see if I can pin this. There we go. So, drop your names, where you're from in the chat. Welcome. This is a kind of a experiment slash everyone keeps asking. So I blocked off Fridays between 1 and 2 p.m. Mountain Time. Sometimes we'll take the whole hour, sometimes we won't. But between 1 and 2 p.m. on Fridays, this is the place to hang out. Grab your jammies, bring a coffee if you want, but this is the place to hang out. So today we're discussing Canva. We're going to talk about creating things on Canva. I'm going to share my screen with you. Hopefully we can. Oh, what's up, Brenna? You're in Orem, just down the road from us. So today I want to know what you want out of the training from Canva today. Tell me what you're designing, because I know some of you are designing YouTube covers, some of you are designing books, some of you are designing who knows, like an Instagram post or a Facebook post or whatever the case may be. I want to know in the chat, tell me what you're designing. And this Friday Hive Room is, again, it's going to change every Friday depending on what you need and what you want. So that's what this is for, to just hang out, throw your cameras on. We're going to just do Canva today because I know that a lot of us struggle with this. A lot of us struggle with like how to use Canva and what design elements. And maybe you're familiar with Canva and you're just like, oh, I just want some other ideas and I want to figure out how to design with gradients, or gosh, I need to freshen up my look by learning new tech skills and stuff in Canva. So depending on what I hear from you will dictate next, oh my gosh, dictate next week's Hive Room topic. Wow, I'm a public speaker for a living. Ugh, that was hard to get out. And we're going to talk about whatever you want. We're going to talk about home and family life balance. We're going to talk about business. We're going to talk about speaking. We're going to talk about whatever it is I get the most questions on from our community. So that's what this is for. So go ahead, throw it in the chat. What is it that you are working on in business, especially in terms of Canva, because that's our topic for today. But what is it that you want to learn how to do in Canva? What are you designing? Just throw it in the chat there. By the way, if you don't have Canva Pro, I'm going to post a link in the chat so you can get that because it's totally worth it. Canva is an incredible product. I use it all the time. And what I love is that they have designed it in a way where it's very usable on the free version, but also on the pro version. There's so many features. If you are in the Canva universe, you know that recently they announced that you are going to, if you're part of Canva teams, that you are going to be paying like quadruple the price. Now, Canva kind of found out that their audience hated that. And they're like, oh, wow, I really don't want to pay 4x what I'm paying right now for Canva. So Canva just barely released a notification that said, hey, whoops, we listened to our audience. We realize that you hate that and you don't want to pay 4x for things that you've been paying for on the regular. So if you're a part of Canva teams, you were going to be charged 4 times the price. They have since rescinded that officially. That's on their website. So yay for Canva for listening to their people. They provide a wonderful, wonderful service. And that's why I continue to support them, is because they listen to their people. So again, throw it in the chat. What are you working on? What do you want to build? Let's see, I've got some information for Brenna. Social media marketing, trying to make posts that are drawn to interact with. Okay, tell me more about that. Looks like we've got Shanti's note taker coming in. Post in the chat. I want to hear from Adam. I want to hear from Dean. I want to hear from everybody. What do you need to design? You guys know all my calls. They are highly interactive. What do you need to design that you currently don't have? Maybe for you, it's a tripwire. Maybe for you, it's, gosh, the cover for your book. Or maybe for you, what you need, baby?
That link you sent me that I then just sent to a ton of people is wrong.
Oh, no.
So
In comes Richard with the AI, IT, all of the letters. Is everyone bugging? Like,
Yeah.
hey, okay, my bad, my bad. Richard to the rescue. Please hold while we get
Sorry.
our ducks in a row because they are quacking and running around all over the place right now. Thank you, my love. Perfect.
Okay.
Okay,
Oh, there you go.
there's
Oh,
Paris.
somehow Paris figured it out. I couldn't figure it out.
Oh,
Paris was hitting me up like, "Hey, what's the link?" And I'm like, "I sent it to you." He's like, "No, that's not right." And then I click on it. I'm like, "No, it's not right."
cool.
So
Guys, this is
anyway,
so
there you go.
informal that I swear you can wear your jammies and your bare feet. Adam wore bare feet on stage. This is the perfect space for that, right? What's up, Paris? Good to see you, man.
Yeah, dude, I was like, all these links. I was like, which is the right one? Finally, I made it. I'm glad.
You sound like Joseph Smith. Which of all the links is the right one? Okay.
Yeah.
So that's what we're here for. And I just asked everybody to throw in the chat, what do you need help designing? In fact, go ahead and unmute yourself while you're putting in the chat. Please still do that. Unmute and introduce yourself and say hi to everybody. A lot of you are in my Mastery Hive, which is great to see you here. This is just extra free training for you guys. Just introduce yourself, everybody. Paris, why don't you share with everyone who you are, what your mission is, why you're here? I know you're about to get up and go, but I call you right back.
So I was just going to close the door so that, anyways,
Mm.
my kids are still home from school and I don't want to run, with their friends running by and it's like, oh no, wait, ancillary noise. So I'm a financial coach. I absolutely love helping people manage, protect, and grow their money. I just realize, there's so much stress, there's so much anxiety, there's so many things that people have, like all this shame and guilt around money. And, stress, when you look up on, the number one problems, causes of stress, it's money. If you look up the top causes of divorce, it's money. And I'm just like, why? Money is simple, it's easy. If you set it up correctly, if you put it on autopilot, it can work just so easily. And so it really is a set of habits and skills. We're not taught how to manage money in school. Anyway, so I have a YouTube channel. So one of the reasons why I want to be here today is number one, to learn how to make thumbnails more pop, stand out, really you just woohoo, wow.
Okay. Like YouTube
And
thumbnails?
and by the way, I have already started doing a few things because I don't know if well, I just put up a video early this morning, and the last video I put up was 2 weeks ago. I have the glow around myself that you taught me how to do just a couple weeks ago. So I started to implement already, and I feel like it looks better. I don't know what's wrong with my YouTube channel. I feel like the algorithm hates my guts, but it's whatever. So the other thing I want to learn how to do is you have got the most fantabulous, like I don't even know how to say, I can't even say how much I just am so impressed with your PowerPoints. I'm just like, what? Like I just watch you and the movements and the animations and all this cool stuff. And I'm just like, man, because you like for example, I want to start doing regular weekly calls, and I feel like, of course, I can just blab for hours, but I feel like it's important to have something on the screen for people to look at and watch and follow along. Not necessarily that I'm reading exactly what it says there, but just a couple bullet points that kind of adds to what I'm saying as that visual, just adding another what are they called? The five senses. Adding as many, if you can engage the more senses you can engage with somebody, the more that they buy into, and the more they just kind of are engrossed in the presentation. So that's what I want to do with that. So I want to be able to create cool slides, and it doesn't have to necessarily be super fancy like you do, but just some slides that I can have on the screen as I'm going through, because I do want to start a 30-day challenge where I'm actually hosting it and guiding people through.
Yes.
And then I also want to do other things where group meeting, group, Q&As and just fun things where if I could create, and then I know posting on social media is so much better when you have a picture, in the future, all the groups that are available, like you post, I know you do fancy things with your stuff, but those are, I guess for not taking up the whole hour here. That's why that's why I'm here.
Is
Thank
anyone
you.
else here for YouTube thumbnails? Raise your hand if you want help on those. Okay,
All of it.
Renee says yes to everything. By the way, many of the skills cross over to whatever you're creating, but I'm just curious. Raise your hand if it's YouTube thumbnails or type a one in the chat. Good. Okay, raise your hand if you're wanting help creating your ebook so that you can have a PDF deliverable whenever you hop on stage. Type a two in the chat if you're here for that. If it's anything else, just throw it in the chat. There's a gabillion things that you can do on Canva. Today, I want to start high level. and kind of trickle down, because one of the things that is critical for the user experience, not you as a user, but your consumers as users, 1, 2, 3, etc., is continuity. And by continuity, we need to say that my stuff looks familiar every time I use it. When people run across you on social media, they want to recognize you by your font. They want to recognize you by your colors. They want to recognize you in everything that you're doing. So, for example, how many of you can name the brand if I were to say brown trucks with gold lettering? What's that brand?
UPS.
UPS.
Exactly. They actually own the patent or copyright or whatever to that color brown. It's called UPS brown, right?
Wow.
If I were to say, let's just say, I don't know if anyone knows this font in particular, but do you remember Papyrus from back in the day? That font came out and everybody used it to the point where we make fun of them now if they use it. Comic Sans. Does anyone know that font? This is the font that most comics were written in. Fortune 500 companies. We do not use Comic Sans, my friends. Not unless you're writing comics. It's the font of Snoopy and the like. We love them, but we are not comic strip writers unless you are. Let's see, Nike, they are known by their font. Think of another brand that you know by their font or their colors. Nike has their Nike orange. Home Depot has their Home Depot orange. Walmart has their blue with the yellow star. Of course, they have their logos, but they have their entire branding kit to where, if you don't have a brand kit, and Renee, we've done yours already, and Paris, we're working on yours, where you're using the same continuity, the same colors and branding throughout. And I want you to have that. So I'm going to share my screen here, and I'm just going to open up my Canva. As you have questions, please just raise your hand. I don't have a structure for this other than answering your questions. I hope that's helpful. So, but I do want to start with a little bit of structure. Okay, so I've got in my Canva here, this is just what I open up every day. You can see, do you like my fancy smancy, this design here? It's designed to look
One of the things
terrible.
I don't like is that there's too many options for my brain. A lot of times when I open up something, so if I want to create, for example, just a PDF, like okay, my daughter went to picture day, and when they took the picture, she had a couple flying outs, right? And I'm like, my wife's like, hey, can you edit this? My son used to have Adobe. He was like, my son's my
He's
son.
brilliant. I love that kid.
Yeah. So we're like, hey, can you do this? And he was like, oh, I actually am not doing that. I don't have that program anymore. So I'm like, crap. I knew Canva could do it. But I was like trying to figure out, is it 8x10? Like what do I choose to open up to do that? You know what I mean? Like that was my big hiccup, is like, and so when I get overwhelmed, like you said, like your whole thing about if a confused mind doesn't buy,
Doesn't buy.
a confused mind doesn't open up a Canva app.
Okay.
Okay, there you go.
This is gonna be good.
Application in real time.
Oh my gosh, you guys are the freaking best. Okay, so a confused mind doesn't buy or opt in or open stuff. That is definitely true. So let me introduce you to your brand kit, first of all. And good news is, Paris, if you have trouble deciding on your fonts, your colors, yada, 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 you can A/B split test. I'll show you what that looks like in just a minute. So let's go over here to brand. And if you're in Canva Pro, yours should look very, very much like this, but your brand kit. So these are my brand kits. I have several brands that I work with, and they each have their own kit. So when you're in Canva, I highly, highly recommend that you create your own brand kit. Okay. Let me go over here, brand kit. So you can see I have my company brand kit right here, which has my colors that I use. We have a company that we launched, we kind of just petered out with. It's called Secured Success, but it has its own brand colors. We picked blue because that's the color of trust. We did a brand kit for Revan Roofing. We didn't really get that far on that one. We had a brand kit for our nail salon. I have one for a Instagram that I just abandoned, never use it. I started a cookie company for my kids. I have a brand kit for them. I had one so you see, this is, every company that we work with. If I've ever designed something for you, there's Renee's right there, right? There's Julie K's. Paris, you have your own folder. I don't have a brand kit for you because I don't have your colors yet. Skin R&R. So any company that
Can you
I've ever
share
worked
brand
with, or
kits?
what's that?
Can you share brand kits?
Yes, you
Because
can
I can
share
just
brand.
share mine if you want.
Yeah.
Like,
One word of caution though, if you there's a difference between sharing your stuff on Canva and make it viewable and editable by someone else versus adding someone to your team. If you add someone to your team on Canva, you can only do that under Canva Teams, and you get charged for the person that you add to your team. You're essentially buying them a Canva subscription.
oh yeah, yeah.
So don't do that unless you are meaning to. But you can. So you can see Renee's here or Julie's here. Julie came to our podcast launch workshop. So we started a brand kit for her. We picked these colors together. So anytime I design something for Julie, I've got her colors saved. I don't have to get something close. I can use her exact colors. And she's got 2 fonts that we use that whenever we design something, we're pulling from our existing colors and we're pulling from our existing fonts so that it looks the same no matter what we're doing. Okay, let's talk about YouTube thumbnails real quick. So I'm gonna go back home here and I have just barely designed, you can see I've got Aubrey's brand kit here too. I just got her presentation. I have just barely designed a YouTube cover. Now, when you open up Canva, these are gonna be all your recent designs. Before I show you my YouTube covers, I want to show you this projects folder because once you start designing a bunch of stuff, your head will spin because you won't be able to find stuff. So you've got your projects folder over here and you can add stuff to folders. You can see I have all my folders here. Books I've written. This one is for a different company. Again, this is not the same thing as your brand kit. This is organizing what you've created into folders so you can easily find it. I've got mock-ups here. I've got Marianne one pages here. I've got my daughter's YouTube channel here. I've got my company has the most in it. So I've got stuff for live events, stuff for webinars, stuff for my digital courses, value ladder documents, lots of different things in here. So YouTube video thumbnails are in here for me. And the reason that I keep those together is because I like to just kind of copy and paste stuff. So the sizing is the same. And so the fonts just kind of stay there. Let me show you the YouTube thumbnail covers. So YouTube thumbnail covers are largely housed right here, right? And Canva has done something new with their interface where if you open something, you used to be able to just start clicking editing. Now you have to like click on it itself and then you can open it up. So these are my YouTube
Yeah, that's
covers.
annoying what they did. I don't
I
like
know
it.
it's not my favorite, but there it is. So when you're in here, let's just show you. Okay, so you can see, I'm going to move this up, that I've got 2 thumbnails for basically the same thing. 30-day social media challenge, my journey to 10K, 30-day social media challenge, 10K. Those are the same for the same video, right? The reason I did that is I wanted to see which style got clicked on more. Paris, is this kind of looking familiar so far? Have you ever designed an A/B split test for YouTube thumbnail covers?
I barely know how to spell AB, so we're working on that.
Okay,
I
so
don't.
Hey, nice to know we're in the same group, Paris.
this
Yeah,
is why we're
seriously. So,
here.
I mean, I'm teasing a little bit, but at the same time, I know that YouTube just launched the ability to do that. However, I've not figured out on my channel how to do it. So
Let me show you. Let's do it. Let's do it. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and open up my YouTube account.
mhm.
YouTube Creator Studio.
Because I feel like I'm at the point where I'm literally just going to put on my thumbnail. Look, my thumbnail designing sucks. Watch the video. You're gonna love it. Like that's what I want to
Do
put on
it.
my thumbnails nowadays.
Why
Like,
not? Remember when I showed you my Canva thing? It's like if your Canva designs look like this, then you should come. Just make it scrawl and unpretty. Just do it. It's better published than perfect, right? Okay, so let me show you how to do this. By the way, if you're in the world of speaking, you all should be publishing YouTube content. Eventually you want your signature keynote on your YouTube channel. I started my YouTube channel years and years and years ago. So there's old blonde Marianne stuff on there still, but I'm still publishing, especially my podcast.
with short hair.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. The blonde
I've seen
pixie
it.
is out there.
I've seen it.
It definitely exists. Okay, so let's go to click on content.
hmm
And let's just say, what's one that has the A/B split test? Okay. I think the test is over with this one, but let's click on this video. All right. So I can see I've got my thumbnail there. You can see that one looks familiar from Canva. But if I go here, I can set a thumbnail that stands out and draws attention. I can also click this options and view test report. Now you'll see both thumbnails on here, right? You can see that this thumbnail won. This test finished, ran from August 28th to September 11th. And without a conclusive result means there wasn't enough viewers on the people that clicked on the videos to actually get a big enough data set to tell me which thumbnail went out. So it just picked one by default for me. But if you ever, oh, go
I
ahead.
have a question. When I'm uploading the video, it gives me the option to put the thumbnail right there. Then I'm looking right now and I see the 3 dots. I see I can test and compare after I've already published it.
Yes.
So what do I do before is it right there too, just as easy? Like you can add both of the thumbnails right there okay. And then it will put both of them out. And then you can come back and look and see which one was had the best CT, whatever it's called.
Yeah, click rate.
Yeah, click through rate, CTR.
Yep. So
there's another meaning of CTR that I was, I get confused.
Right?
Yeah, choose the right. We should be choosing the right thumbnail.
Really, it's the same meaning, I guess, if you think about it. So I could do a new test if I wanted to and upload a new thumbnail. I don't want to.
Okay.
I'm just not going to worry about it. So, but if you want to do A/B split tests on your thumbnails, what's cool is like we were saying earlier, Paris, if you wanted to test the same thumbnail with different fonts, that needs to be the only thing you need to, the only variable, in other words. So my variable here is that I'm not really changing the title. I'm changing the way the title appears.
Okay.
Right?
Cool.
If I had conclusive test results, let's just say this one won, then I would stick with this format and then I would maybe change one other thing like the color or the order or my picture, but nothing else because I don't want to change. I don't want to have 2 completely different YouTube covers because then I don't know why the audience picked one over the other. I need to have only a single variable.
There's too many differences.
Okay. So whenever you do an A/B split test, pick a single variable, a color, a font, an underline, an outline, whatever it is, and see which one performs better. And when you like that one, just change one thing about that and you're always upgrading your A/B split testing. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay, beautiful. Okay, now let's design something from scratch. Paris, what do you need to design? You got your brand colors in the chat. Let's design something for you today. What do you need to design?
Well, I just put a video up right now where I talk about the one of the debt strategies is the cash flow index, and so maybe we could design a thumbnail that I could A/B split test with it. So if you want to you look at my YouTube video now, I can even upload the video, the current picture if you want, or share. I don't know.
Why don't you, put the link in the chat there.
How do you do that? Is it Canva?
No, just put it in the Zoom chat.
No, what I'm saying is, do I put the link in Canva or should I just put the PNG file?
Yeah, no, just put you can actually share the Canva link and I can get the file directly in Canva. So first thing I'm going to do is exit out of here. Once I get that from you, I'm going to open it up and I'm going to create the brand.
So when I click on the share button, it says public view link. Is that what I give you?
Yep.
Okay. And then let's put that in the chat.
Now watch this. While Paris is doing that, you can see if I type in Paris in here, you'll be able to find things in a couple different ways. Templates is one. If you're looking for inspiration or like I need a template for an Instagram story with the pixels organized the right way, I'll look in templates. But if I'm looking for stuff that I've already made, I'm going to click on projects, right? So if I click over here on projects, it'll show me everything I've made for Paris. If I click on templates, it's going to show me stuff about Paris, France, right? So I'm going to click on projects and then it'll show me everything I've made for Paris. And then I have this all in a folder. See, look, Paris, 10 stuff in there, right? Okay, so let me open up the Zoom chat again and see if I can. Did you drop that design in there?
I did. Well, the link, yeah.
Perfect. Let me go in here. Bada bing, bada boom. Look, there's Paris and he's glowing. Looks
Right? I learned how to do
wonderful.
the glow from you, so thank you for the glow.
Anytime.
I've got my glow up.
You did. That looks wonderful. Okay, perfect. So this is showing me a whole video here.
No, don't. Yeah, sorry, stop. I should have. It was supposed to be. I don't know what I did. I wanted to create some MP4. It's messed up. It's supposed to be a static thing.
Okay. But our this is the thumbnail, right?
That is the thumbnail. Yes.
Okay. Okay. So what I'm gonna do
Do you know?
is
Did I send it to the wrong link?
I just have a link to the video. If you want to try sending the link to just the static thumbnail, you totally can do that.
Okay, let's see. See, this is why I'm here. Let's see. Share. Okay, let me just see
And
here.
we're going to do all sorts of fun design elements in here, you guys. We're going to be playing with stuff, moving stuff around. How did
It
you
won't let me
create
do
the
just that.
the outline? Brenna, I'm going to show you. If not, we can just create something from scratch. In fact, let's do this just for kicks and giggles.
You want to just, I can upload the PNG and then you can download that.
Nah, don't worry about that. Let's start from scratch let's just say that you've never created a YouTube thumbnail before in your life and we needed to start from somewhere.
Yeah,
right?
my example's not very good. Sorry.
No, it's great. It's great. In fact, but I think it will be really helpful to see people, help people start from the very beginnings of whatever they're creating. So the first thing I'm going to do is you saw I clicked from projects to templates. Now I'm going to go YouTube thumbnail. If I click on that and just browse the templates, oh my gosh, look at all these things that are completely designed for me that I don't even have to be creative to do. Yay!
Holy smokes.
How cool is that, right? So all of these, if you're a pro member, you see this little crown there. If you're a pro member of Canva, these are all included, every single one of them. So if you see something and you're like, oh, I like that, then I can take it, make it my own. Obviously, I'm not going to use this because it's not my face or my stuff, right? And just change it up. So Paris, let's find something in here that just sticks out to you that you like. Do you see anything on here that you'd be like, oh, that looks cool. I could make that my own.
Well, the income, great ideas, low investment. That one looks cool.
That's even close to your colors.
Yeah, that kind of hit me.
Yeah, same. Okay, so then I click on it and then I say customize this template. Boom. Okay, now this works on the go too. You can, like, if you're the one that rides in shotgun while your husband drives home from the gym, you can edit this on your phone if you want to, right? Okay, so let's go first things first. I need to make this Paris. It's not anywhere close to looking like Paris, so I need a picture of Paris. You can send me one, Paris, or I can just go grab one on Facebook.
Give me a sec.
Okay. Next is, while he's doing that, I'm going to grab his brand colors. He sent them to me in the chat. So I'm going to go, I just copied these. I Control-C these from the chat. And I'm going to go into the design itself. And now I'm going to change the colors to make sure they are Paris's green and Paris's blue. Okay. So I click on this great ideas. This is my green one. And if I look up here, I've got the A with the text color underneath it. There's my color. All right. So it's got all this, but see, if I go up here, blue or color code, I can type in the color code, but I only need one of them. Oh, that's the blue. I need Paris's green, which is probably, this one. So this is Paris's green right here. I'm going to change it to that green, but now we can't see it, but don't worry. We'll fix that in a minute. I'm going to go here and I'm going to change this blue color to Paris's blue. Okay. Oh, that's his green. And I'm going to go to Paris's blue. Right there. Now I've got his brand colors. Before I go anymore, I'm going to go to my brand kit. It looks like I need to create a new one because I don't have one for Paris, but that's okay. But now I've got my colors. Now, let's go to the chat. Did you send a picture yet, Paris?
I'm trying to find one that's similar to that I have already taken. That's not going to be as crazy. So
okay, let's keep editing. So I've got my brand colors here, but it looks like they're hard to see, right? And I need to edit some of these page elements. I've got these little graphic dots back here. I've got this background here. I've got some shading here. There's a lot going on in this image. And I need to be able to edit just the stuff I want to edit. So in order to see everything, I need to go into the layers. So I'm going to right click and it's going to say, bring up this bar right here. From here, I'm going to hover over layer. I'm not going to click it, but then I am going to go over here and say show layers. Now I can see all of these layers that I'm working with. I can independently edit this stuff. So let's just go over here and say, okay, this background, yeah, it's great. It's a great blue, but I can't really see my great ideas. So I have a couple of options. I can either lighten the great ideas or I can lighten the background. I'm just going to lighten this background color. Okay, so I'm going to go, you can see the purple boxes around my background, right? I can make it white if I want to. I can pick a color. Maybe I want to make it a version of my green. I'm going to pick up my dropper and I'm going to go get some of that green and I'm going to say, cool, I like that. Or maybe I want to go more over here. Or maybe I can go wherever I want with this. So I actually really like the blue instead. So I'm going to edit this. I can double click on that and take this wherever I want it to go. Okay. Is anyone learning anything new so far?
Yeah, that whole color thing.
Kind of awesome.
And
Good.
the
Okay.
dropper thing too. I was like, wait, what?
I can pick up whatever colors I want, which means if I'm wearing a shirt and I want to match the whole thumbnail to make it coordinate with my shirt, I can just grab a color from my shirt. I can grab a color from my nostril hairs if I want
I just
to
dropped
match
the
that
picture
color.
in the, if you want.
Okay, let's go to the chat. Let me go over here and pick up. That's perfect. Okay, so I'm going to copy this picture. And by the way, you can copy and paste from just about anywhere direct to your image. You don't have to create a new document. You can just copy and paste. So many of you were like, how do I get the glow thing? How do I do this? How do I get rid of the background? This is beyond easy in Canva. You guys are giving me too much credit to think that I'm any kind of wizard. It's just knowing where the buttons are. Okay, first things first is I need to edit this image. So when I have this purple box around whatever I'm working on, this bar will come up here and just show me a bunch of options. Now I can go to edit and go to background remover, but they realize that I use this all the time. So it's right here, background remover. Boom, we're going to take out that blue background and make this just Paris while it works on that for a second. Boom. Now it's just Paris, which is great, which means I can get rid of this dude. Now, that looks terrible, so I'm going to move Paris around and position him correctly. Now, there's a difference between editing with these round dots and editing with these side sliders. The round dots will adjust the entire image and squish and expand, okay? The sliders will crop. So if I want to just have this up, it didn't change the size, but it changed the crop. Are you with me so far?
Yes.
Yep.
Okay, good.
I am anyways. I don't want to speak for everybody.
Good. Just raise your hand if you have questions. Okay, so I'm going to make this kind of take up the same visual space that took up. Okay, but I don't know, like, do I want him in front of the dots? He's behind those words, doesn't matter because he's not over there. But do I want the dots to stay behind him? What if I want the blue to be on top of his shirt? Well, handy dandy. I'm just going to right click again, go to my layers, show my layers and say, what if I put Paris behind that? Do I like that better? Do I like that worse? Maybe I like it better. I definitely want him, I don't like the blue dots on top of him. So I'm going to put him on top of the blue dots and make it like that. Okay. Okay. Now someone asked, okay, Brennan was like, how do I make the glow? How do we have our glow up? This is, again, very, very simple if you know where to look. So if you go to edit, again, I've got Paris's picture highlighted here. If I go to edit, what we're going to do is add a shadow. That little glow thing that you saw, it's called a shadow. And what you're going to do is click on that and I'm going to say, oh, there's my glow. Boom. So it lifts Paris off the page. You can do this for pictures. You can do it for text, especially if your text needs to be pulled off the background a little bit because it might blend in otherwise, right? This is a great tool for that. Over here, I can decide, okay, how intense do I want this glow? I'm gonna, make it really blurry, or I'm not. How big do I want this glow to be? How intense do I want this glow to be? So I can make it a zero blur outline, right? If I wanted to, and just make Paris jump off the page and be totally outlined. Or I can make it like he can be like an angel where he's all glowing, right? And I can make it super intense and, oh, Paris is so special and amazing, right? I can do whatever I want with that. So I'm going to say, Paris, what color background or blur do you want on there?
I usually like just to have a white one, but it doesn't contrast well with the background. So it could be my brand color blue would be good, I think, just a little darker, deep blue.
Okay, so I'm going to
Has to
go
be.
here, and I need to paste in your color code. Since I haven't created a brand kit for you yet, I need to go pick up your color codes there. So I'm going to go back to the chat and pick up those color codes. Oh, Shanti, I don't know if you can hear us. Okay. All right, let's go pick up these color codes and go in the chat. Hey, oh, this is weird. Shanti's AI note taker is the one that's confused. That's okay. All right, let me go back here. I gotta make my chat smaller. And let's go back on Paris, go to edit, pick up our shadow again, and I'm gonna paste in that color code. Okay, there's our blue.
Yeah, I like that.
Okay, that lifts nicely. Okay, and this is just season to taste, you guys. Make it the way that you're like, oh, okay, that looks good. I like that, right?
So the great ideas looks like it has a shadow too. Is that correct?
It does. Let me show you where that's coming from. So if I go to great ideas, I'm going to see this highlighted right here, effects. Okay. Great ideas has a shadow effect on the text itself. So I can take that shadow effect off. I can replace it. I can make it neon if I wanted to, make it look like a neon sign. I can make it outlined. I can make it echoed. I can make it glitchy. I can make it whatever I want to make it. Right? If we want to keep that green, I like a brighter green because it just pops even more against the blue dots we have in the background. Right? Before we do anything like that, let's name this correct thing though. What's the name of this YouTube video going to be?
Pick something.
What's it
Make
about?
more money. Income, great ideas. So that's
Okay, wanna. Perfect. I just made that up. Maybe it's terrible. I don't know. We're just playing around. Want to make more money? We could even say, what if we like?
Let's pretend that I didn't have those dots on the back because I didn't do the template and I wanted to go find dots like that.
Ah, good call. Okay, so I'm going to show my layers and I'm just going to delete these dots.
Okay.
Okay. Now I need to add some sort of visual element in here. So I'm going to click on elements and I'm just going to start looking up stuff. So I'm going to say dot background. Look at these graphics that it shows me, right? I can go nuts with these graphics and go down. Let's see. Where's something that I like to see? Okay, maybe I like this one, but I don't want this one. I click on these three dots and I can view the collection or see more like this. So if you see something in the elements tab and like, this is on the right track, but this isn't exactly it, I can click on those three dots and say, see more like this. I'm like, oh, this is getting close. What if I clicked on that and said, see more like this? Ooh, look at that. See how we got there?
Mm-hmm.
It just did a search basically. So I'm gonna throw those on there and say, oh, that looks terrible. Someone just did a splatter screen on my thing. Let's change it up. I'm gonna resize it and I can either, if I want to get it behind my words, I can either go back to my layers, show layers, and just move it. Or if I didn't know how, if I wanted to fast track that, if I'm on a Mac, I click Command and then the bracket. And then that moves it. If I click Command, bracket, 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 that just sends it
Oh,
back
so keyboard, you're using a keyboard shortcut, what you're saying
using a
right now.
keyboard shortcut. Yep.
All right. For those of us who don't believe in Mac, what do we click on? Not command, we click
Yeah.
control,
So
right?
you would just show layers and then think I learned this. Oh, okay. So if you hover over layers, you'll have your keyboard shortcuts right here.
Okay, cool.
It'll teach you. Now it knows I'm on a Mac, but yours will probably be able to detect your operating system. Okay, so let's find some dots that we like or something else. Do you like dots? Do you want dollar signs? We could do dollar signs. Let's look at dollar signs. Let's see. Dollar sign background. Ew. Could do something like this. Right? I don't know. What do you think, Paris? What do you want on yours? Let's get creative here.
Hey, like I've shared with you before, your ideas are often trump my ideas by tenfold usually, especially when that flyer you made was like awesome. I was like, dang, bro. I really like the dots. I thought the dots were cool. I just wanted to know, like, if I didn't use the template, how do I go find those dots?
Yep, they're going to
So
be
that
in your
was
elements in the graphics.
okay. That
So
was that was all I need to know for this area. If somebody wants to know more about something else, then that we can move on. But I like so that set of dots, I don't know what that like what can I click on that set of dots and see the name of it so that I can look for it in the future or
let's go see. Let's go to my layers.
is there a
Show
way to
layer.
favorite certain things so that I can like just pull from my favorites at some point?
Uh-huh. So I can see this. I can say, I've got my layer here. I want to see more like this, right? So I've done this before. Let's see if I can get rid of some extra stuff on my screen here. Okay. So I saw this and I was like, okay, info. I can go to this and then add to a folder.
Oh, that's cool. Or star it. What's the star
Or you
do?
can star it. I don't use stars. That might be something that you can use. I've just never used them before.
Okay, that might be able to favorite it so you can come back at it to find it later easier.
Yep. And you know what's even cooler though? And this is my default because it just works really good for me. I'm like, okay, if I go back to my designs, let's go back home for a second. And I use this a ton in my Own the Stage speaker training. I was like, I have this background with all of these elements. Look at the layers on this puppy. There's the live button, the text layer, there's these sparkles, there's this microphone, there's all this blah, 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 blah stuff, right?
Mm-hmm.
But I want to make this, it's not the right size for like an Instagram post or something. I have a couple of options. One is I can go to resize, custom size, and it'll copy and resize for me once I pick a size, right?
And you can go to
Or,
social media.
right, I can go to social media. I want to resize it for an Instagram reel. I can copy and resize this if I want to. And then it's going to be like, ooh, how does all this fit in an Instagram reel? And it's going to try its best, but I'll probably have to move stuff around, right? So I'm going to open mobile video. I've opened a reel. Now I've made a reel out of my design. Guess what? It looks terrible. So I need to move stuff around a little bit. So I'm going to have to go into my layers and show my layers and say, okay, this one, oh, that belongs up here. Let me just get that out of the way, size that down. Okay, now I need to go to this one and do the same thing so it looks all nice and pretty and on brand. Oh, and look, my Own the Stage. This is this group right here. This needs to be up here. And this one needs to be up here. And okay, is this sounding pretty repetitive now?
Well, I like your flow because when I try to edit those into different resizes, I just like try to figure out I click and tab or tab and tab and tab till I find it. But you just opened up the layers and went for it. And I'm like, that's so much gonna be so much easier. So thank you.
Yeah. And the workflow is kind of the cool thing too. Like you said, we can just see how it goes faster. And if I want to move, let's say I like the microphone and this little stage where they are in relation to each other, but I don't like where that whole thing is on the screen. I can select multiple layers. So I'll grab this one, hold down the shift key and grab this one and move them around together.
Oh,
Say,
that's
oh,
so
I
cool.
want this whole thing there. Right? So now I have a sizing for Instagram Reels. But to your point, Paris, let's just say that I'm like, okay, I didn't want to use, I don't want this whole design. I just want a couple of elements put onto my YouTube banner, right? Let's just say that you have your book and then you make a YouTube video about something that's in your book. So you want to create an element, right?
Mhm.
Let me go out of this for a second. I'm gonna say delete me. I don't need this. Now that's my little hack for myself to say I created something as an example. I don't need to save it. Whenever I find the file name delete me, I just delete it.
You delete it later. Yeah, good.
Yep. Okay, so see, there it is. I can just say to trash. Okay, let's go back to that design that we did for your bag inserts. Let's see, there it is. Paris bag insert. Okay, let's say that I really like this element right here. And I want to put this element, maybe, dude, okay, I'm Paris. I've got this 30-day challenge, but I want to make a YouTube video for every day of the 30-day challenge, right?
Mm-hmm.
For continuity's sake, I want to bring in the elements that were on the flyer into the 30-day challenge. So subconsciously, people know that they're in the right place because they recognize it from this. Okay. Let's take this and I'm just going to highlight the element I want, press copy, Control C from your keyboard. And now I'm going to go back to this, Control V. Now I've brought over my element and we can design something about this. 30-day challenge. Oops, let's spell it right. Day 1. Okay, don't worry, I'll move that in just a second. This is kind of taking up a lot of space. I'm going to go to my layers, show layers. I'm going to highlight everything that I want to keep together. See, I've got all of these in purple. I'm going to click the word group. What that will do for me is collapse those layers into one layer. And now if I click it, it'll just bring everything.
Oh, nice.
It's really nice. I'm going to just make that smaller because now that it's grouped, remember these resize circles? I can just resize this and I can move it here and then bring in my little house if I want to. I can change things up. I can move this over here. And you know what I really want to do is resize this blue bar because it doesn't make sense for that to go out so long with the text being so short. So I'm going to go here and click ungroup so I can just edit one piece of this and just make it like that. Okay, now the design flaw in this, if you will, is that the background looks great behind Paris, but it's the same kind of hue as everything we have going on here. And so it doesn't really pop for me. My favorite way to overcome this is through gradients. Here's what I do. I go into elements and I search up gradient. A gradient is basically a color that fades into another color. Now, I don't want to pull it from photos because I want a transparent background for my gradient, right? So I'm going to go to black gradients right here, and I'm just going to pick on this, okay? You'll see me use gradients all the time. Now, I'm going to rotate this because I don't need it from the bottom up. I need it left to right. Okay, I'm going to rotate it 90 degrees. Boop, right there. And I'm going to slide it over. And I'm going to stretch it out, but I need it behind some stuff and in front of other stuff. So what's my tool?
Layers.
Exactly. Layers, or I can use my quick keys. I'm going to show layers. Put it behind there. Ooh, that looks better. Better, better, even better. And now I've got something that looks pretty cool. I'm going to move this stuff over a little bit, make sure I grab everything. And move this over a little bit, make sure I grab everything. And now I've got something that I can actually use.
Wow.
Then we can test it. We can A/B split test it. Okay, we got 10 minutes left. Any questions? Anything that you want to see manipulated here? Anything that you want to go from there? By the way, if I were using this, if I was actually to use this thumbnail,
I have a question. What if I want to change the color of the gradient?
You can totally do that. Let me do that over here. So I'm going to go to the gradient.
Mhm.
I can edit this. And typically, if you don't see an option up here to change the color of the gradient, you can do one of two things. You can go here and say colored gradient. Okay. And I can pick one, change it that's close to my color. Or I learned this workaround. You're going to love this one. So I go and I select my gradient. Let me make sure I get the right layer here. Show layers, this. Okay, now I've got my gradient. And see, my gradient is outside the bounds of my image here, but it's
Okay,
selected.
how did you do that?
Make it smaller.
Yeah.
I am using my fingers on my trackpad on my Mac, like
Okay.
pinching it on your screen.
Okay.
You can also use your zoom function down here.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, cool. Thank you.
You bet. You bet. Okay, so I'm going to do something as kind of a workaround for my gradient. So I'm going to go to edit. And what I need to do is duotone. This is a workaround, guys. This is a back door to changing the color of the gradient because you can't do it through the front door. So I need to make it a duotone. Now, if I click any color, it doesn't matter. I can adjust this color right here,
Oh, nice.
right? So if I wanted to do that and then put your color code in there, I could. So if I wanted to make this blue, it didn't really work. I maybe need to make this blue. Ah, ha, ha, ha. Now I can pick the color that I want. I'm glad you asked that. This is a back door because that's not
Okay, cool. So you go to
super obvious up
duo,
front.
what's it called again? Duo,
Duotone.
the duotone. Okay, thank you.
Yep, right in here. It's called duotone. And it's just basically going to colorize your gradient tool.
Because I feel like that even looks better.
It does. I agree. Because it's got that blue. And you know what? I kind of want to lift this too. Let's do this. Let's put a shadow around this bad boy. And no. Ah, now I've got something that I like. Kind of lifts that off the screen a little bit. Okay. All right, so I've got a usable thing here. Now let's just say I want to do an A/B split test, but I don't want to redesign this thumbnail from scratch again. I just want to change one thing about it. I'm going to click this little duplicate box right here. And now I've got all my YouTube covers, which means that I can use this Paris YouTube covers. And anytime I need to create a new YouTube cover, I can just go back to this file and duplicate another one, change the name. Let's just say my A/B split testing comes through and I've got a pattern that I really like. I don't have to create a new file every time. I'll just duplicate the page. And that way I've got all my YouTube thumbnails in one beautiful location.
Nice.
This is really cool. So let's just say on this one, let's just try just changing the font. Okay, I'm going to say, okay, I changed this font right here from this to Futura. If I click change all, it will change all on everyone. I don't want to do that. So I'm going to undo that here. I'm just going to change it on this one. Now that doesn't really fit, so I'm going to make it that. Looks like in the original font, that was a letter O instead of a 0. So I'm going to make that different. I'm going to capitalize this. If I highlight that and then click this uppercase box here, I can capitalize the whole thing really quick. Right? I can change this to my Futura font. And I just want to make it all capital again, but I have to make it fit. So I'm going to do that. And maybe I just want to try that font versus this font and see which one performs better. Then maybe this one wins. Well, I'm going to change this image and swap it out for another image and see which one wins and so forth. Okay. So now I got to get this to Paris. Casey wants to use it, right? First thing I'm going to do is I'm going to put this, oops, go away. I'm going to put this in my files. So I'm going to click on file and then I'm going to click move to folder. I'm going to put it in Paris's folder. This is just my records for all my organization. Whenever I make something, I'm going to put it away. How my house works too. Now I'm going to share this with Paris, but I don't want to create a new subscription. He's already got a subscription. So I'm going to copy the link anyone with this link can access the design, no sign-in required. It does not create a new team member. It's a collaboration link. And I can say, hey, this link, if I make it, you can edit or you can view or you can comment. So if you have a media team and you're like, hey, I made this thing, or hey, I need to send you my Canva link, can you just comment on it? I can make it commentable without editable. I can also make it viewable. I can also make it editable. So this is Paris's. I don't care. This is his. So I'm going to copy this link and then I'm going to text Paris on my phone. Since I have a Mac, it talks to it. So I'm going to text Paris on my phone right here. And boom. Paris is going to get a text any second with that link in his text, and then he can have it.
I'm going to respond to Brenna right now real fast. If you see in the top left-hand corner, it says resize. That's how you click resize, and then it will make it a thumbnail, YouTube. Pardon me, it will make it a Instagram post. It will resize it.
Yes.
So she
I'll
asked
show that.
Yeah.
Yeah, thank you for pointing that out in the chat. So if I click this little crown resize, this is a pro feature, by the way. You click resize, I can change this. Watch this. Oh, okay. Want to go to the next level? We got 4 minutes. Let's do this. I want to make this into an Instagram. I can make it a story. So if I'm Paris and I just dropped this YouTube video, and I want to convert this to an Instagram story to tell everybody that my new YouTube video has dropped. Now I can copy and resize and say, okay, this is the size for an Instagram story, but now it looks weird because it was sized for original video. So I just need to go to my elements, stretch them out. I'm going to move these. Remember, I'm shift, click. I got to pick this blue box up too. Shift, click. And now I'm going to resize this whole thing, move it around to where I want it. Now I didn't click group, but I just had everything highlighted at the same time. Oops. Control Z is your best friend, by the way. I need to take Paris and I need to move him out of the way. Maybe I just move him over. Oh, I want him in front of the blue. So I'm going to bring him over here. 30-day challenge. Maybe this gradient needs to come out a little bit more. If I drag it out, you see how it stretches it?
Mm-hmm.
Right? And then I have enough room in my story. When I post this, I can add the link to the YouTube video right here.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. Kind of awesome. Okay. Now I've got an Instagram story for you. So let me share this with you as well. Copy link. That way you can just have this and use it for your stuff. Okay. Great question. I'm glad you asked. Any other questions with the time we've got? What? And by the way, if you have a gold nugget, if this was helpful anyway, that's my goal. Tell me how it was helpful if this was helpful to you. Something new that you learned.
I learned how to change the
it was all
gradient
new.
color. Thank you.
It was awesome. Yeah.
What was that, Dean?
Oh, I said it was awesome. I learned so many new things. I think the layers thing was like really cool for me, like how that all works. That was awesome. Thank you.
Good. Awesome. Glad the layers was helpful. Resizing, of course, the continuity thing. Now Paris has an Instagram story, a YouTube thumbnail, and a printed handout that all match. That creates brand recognition.
And do you do all of your stuff, Marianne, or do you have someone else that will do this for you?
That's a great question. So this is a problem that I have.
She won't let me have anyone else do it.
Yeah, are you
She
kidding?
needs to read the book, Who Not How.
We need the
Okay.
Richard tell-all. That's what we need.
Do it,
See,
Richard.
Marianne has spent years being a photographer and is really creative. So you guys got to remember that.
Oh, okay. Okay.
I
it's
was
amazing.
hoping
You do
Richard would chime
incredible.
in. What was that, Dean?
I said you're incredible. I mean, you do amazing stuff.
Oh,
I
that's
just
super
thought,
kind of you.
how are you?
Well, I mean, the
All the
fact that
time
I
to
would
do
have
all that
probably
you
never
do.
thought of doing the gradient, and I would have just put it up there. But with the gradient, it makes it pop way more. It's like my brain doesn't think of the cool, like I mean, I don't know who else is a member of the church, but it's like I'm an elders quorum guy, not a Relief Society. You know what I mean? Like we don't decorate the
Oh,
table. You know
no,
what I mean?
I
We
am
just
not. I may be in Relief Society Paris, but I am definitely not your typical Relief Society
yeah,
person. Okay.
I don't have a doily on the table when I walk into the elders quorum. You know what I'm saying?
I'm
Like,
gonna call it Gradient's digital doilies from now on.
yeah, that's it. Digital doilies.
Paris has a tarp and a power tool.
There you go.
Exactly.
You'll see on my stuff, I use gradients, I use lifts all the time. And Richard's right. I have a problem. Anytime anyone designs something for me, I'm like, can I just
Go back
Can
and
I
fix
fix it?
Yeah, everything, everything.
That's awesome.
Emails, landing pages, anything I make. She's like, "Oh, I hate that."
Well, at least you
I'm
get her
so
started.
grateful for it. I don't know how to do your tech side, Rich, and that's why I have you. But as far as the image facing, I have a problem. I haven't found my who yet. I've read the book. I just haven't found my who yet.
Okay.
So,
I need to
all
jump to
right.
another call, but thank you so
We're
much.
wrapping up anyway. Thank you
Oh,
for
Take
okay.
care, Dean. Good to have you.
Yeah, okay.
Okay, awesome. Any votes for what next week gets to be? Do we want to do another shot on Canva? Do we want to do work home life balance? Do we want to talk about speaking? Do we want to talk about anything business? This Canva training specifically is not part of the Mastery Hive, but I've just been asked so often. This is the answer to the call. So if we want to,
How,
again,
honestly, Marianne, if you literally have something you need to design in Canva, like just design it during the hour and let us watch what you're doing and tell us how you're doing it. That would be super cool for me. I mean, I know
Start
I'm not going
going
to speak for
live.
I don't speak for everybody, but I think that would be super helpful. It's just like I do want to learn how to create PowerPoints, but at this
Yeah,
end of the day, the coolness of your PowerPoint is just that you know where all the cool elements are and all the fading and the
right,
gradients and I
right.
mean, if we know that, we can create anything after that. You know what I mean?
exactly. Exactly. I will be happy to show you next week if you want to do slides for speakers. Would that be helpful?
Yeah, yeah, for me anyways,
Yeah.
but I don't want to talk for everybody.
Adam gave a thumbs up. How about you, Renee?
Sure.
Hey,
Slides for
Shauna,
speakers.
Addie, anyone else? By the way, if you're not creating slides, this will still be useful because the elements are transferable no matter what you're creating in Canva.
Exactly.
So there's some really cool stuff with slides. So for
Yeah, how
example,
to
I'll just give
create the
you,
slides for your signature presentation or whatever. Yeah.
I would
Perfect.
love to
Do it.
do that. One of the cool
Do it.
things with slides, so you'll see slides like this where, let's go into present mode, right? You'll see slides where I stack stuff.
Hmm.
So, but everything will say breathe, forget everything, smile,
And then you
purr,
have the cool like smoke in the background, like
right? But it stacks because those are actually all different slides,
oh, interesting.
right?
Okay.
It's not
Oh.
necessarily all animations on the same slide. It's just stacking slides. And I do that all the time when I need to build stuff. So, okay, we'll do that next week. Let's talk slide creation for speakers. The only reason I've hesitated to do that is because I don't want you to
Wait just a sec. I'll be right back.
yeah, I don't want you to lean on your slides as a crutch because there will be times where the AV guy cannot find your slides. And I don't want you to be without your signature keynote because your slides evaporated into thin air. Or there will be times when your slides transfer to a different computer and your fonts don't come over and it looks hideous. Or something happens where the power to the computer console goes out and you don't have your slides. I don't want you to rely on your slides for your keynote. If Richard and I were doing the event and our slides completely crapped out, I would have been able to do my call to action without them. I would have been able to do everything I needed to do, teach all my content, deliver my CTA, and enroll everyone without slides. It would have been a
Okay,
little
but
extra work.
the skills that we can learn from you showing us to develop slides, we can put that onto social media posts, or I can put that into the cookbook and then get that out there instead of like me looking at my computer going, nope, not going to do it today because that's going to be 8 hours of is the laptop going to last or is I'm going to destroy it. That's not
There's a word I learned from Calvin and Hobbes, and the word is defenestrate. Does anyone know what that means? Comes from the Latin word. It's actually two words. The D, of course, is the prefix. Fenestrate. The French word for window is fenestre. To defenestrate something means to throw something out a window.
Interesting. That's
I don't
cool.
want you to defenestrate your laptop.
Yeah.
That's how I feel about tech. I mean, it's just
I sure love hanging out with you guys. If this was helpful, we'll keep doing it. Feel free to share this with the public, any one of your students that this would help bring them over. This is just free for everybody. I just wanted to make sure we're answering the call for all the value that we can create in the world. You guys are
Thank you.
awesome. Thank you for being here. If you're in the Mastery Hive, we will see you next Wednesday night. If you're not in the Mastery Hive, let me know if you want to get in. I do have an automation. Richard just set up an automation for this. So if you have anyone that wants to join us, all they need to do is text me the word Friday, and they will be invited to subsequent meetings so that we can just hang out together. So
Cool.
that's it for today, guys. Thanks for joining. Sure
You
love
bet.
you.
Take care.
Have a good
okay.
weekend.
Thank you.